The kettlebell swing is a powerful hip hinge. So, brief introduction, a hip hinge is back through here and we are driving up to straight. The primary cue that I find works for this is to think about driving down into the ground. So working on getting into that hip hinge and the force goes down as though you're trying to jump up. That same force profile, but your feet don't leave the ground. That's what's happening here. It's a power-based movement. It's not a nice, slow, controlled movement. The trouble is, if you try and slow it down and go nice and slow and controlled, you'll end up having to lift with your arms. So, common mistakes we see with a kettlebell swing is we see this sort of slow, squatty front raise. All right? And it feels awkward because you tend to go the old hip thrusty position, not nice on your lower back, awkward exercise. People often do that with a kettlebell. They're like, these things are stupid. Forget that. If you do a kettlebell swing right, it's a fantastic exercise and it's the foundation of other kettlebell exercises, including the snatch, the clean, obviously anything above your head because you need to be able to get up into that rack position first. So pressing, jerks, push presses, etc. So the kettlebell swing starts with a powerful hike pass in that hip hinge position. A bit of a tongue twister there. So if I show you in slow-mo, remember you can't do it in slow-mo, but what it looks like with a nice light kettlebell is you throw it back, then you drive up powerfully, boom, boom, boom. There, this all stops moving and the kettlebell just floats up with inertia. I'm not lifting with my arms. Obviously for this demonstration, I'm lifting with my arms. But when you're doing the proper exercise, this should just float up rather than lifting up. So one of the things I think about is not over gripping with the hands. Now this is by no means a full tutorial today. Please, 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 if you are struggling with kettlebell swings and other kettlebell exercises, go and do my beginner kettlebell program. It's very comprehensive. It goes down into absolute finite detail, including common mistakes made and how to fix them. So go do yourself a favor and do that program and then come back to do the hybrid kettlebell program. Everything's going to make a lot more sense. You're going to have a lot more enjoyment. You're going to learn how to do the skills properly and safely. All right, so let's get into swings. So for this program, we are doing sets of 10 swings. Now, if you've got a choice of kettlebells, try and choose a bell that you can feel like you can drive maximally powerfully. So if it's too light, you're not going to drive powerfully. You've got to have some resistance. If it's too heavy, it's not going to bring about that power, that rate of force development. That's what we're looking for with a kettlebell swing is speed here. It's not maximal force production. It's not a strength-based exercise. So getting down into that hip hinge, and we are going to drive back and let that bell float up. Try and keep your arms nice and long. Try and make sure as the bell comes back, it comes up nice and high. It's going to feel a lot better. If your bell path starts to come too low, it's going to pull you down into this awkward position rather than being up into the hips and loading those hips up. Key things here is try and make sure every single swing is maximally powerful. If it starts to fade off or get uncomfortable, just stop. I've got a recommendation of 10 reps, but if you find it hard to do 10 reps, stop sooner. That's fine. The other thing worth mentioning here is that my recommendation is you have a timer which goes off, say on the top of every minute. So you might do 10 swings on the top of the minute, and then you wait the rest of the minute, then you set up again, it beeps, you go do another 10 swings. So that way you've built in rest. If you feel like you need a longer rest period, you might key in every 2 minutes, for example, or a minute 30. Or you can just do your 10 swings and wait until you feel like you're ready to do that next 10 swings and they're going to be nice and powerful and the technique is going to be spot on. All right, that's the kettlebell swing. If you want to deep dive into it, go do the kettlebell beginner program.